Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I thought I would talk about footwear and what I wear and why. And this was actually spurred from a special request that somebody had under my last clothing related video. And if you're interested in that, I will link to it down below in the description box. That one is about buying used as opposed to buy new, as opposed to making your own, and what I do and why. So we're talking about quality versus frugality, and it depends on the type of shoe wear it is and the kind of money you're going to want to spend on it. Now, I do find shoes at garage sales quite often, and usually in that case, I'm looking at children's shoes because I'm lucky enough to have small enough feet that I can wear children's size shoes like these ones here. These ones were actually purchased new. Now, the purpose of these kind of boots, I have two pairs. I have a brown pair and I have these, is these were bought for more for the cooler time of the year when I'm also wanting to look a little bit more dressed up. And so this is what I'll wear with my skirts. And here's the brown pair right here. These were actually very cheap boots. They're not even leather. And the reason why is because to find boots like this that actually fit me, I have to go with children's. And it is impossible to find them in leather. I prefer leather over the man-made uppers. But one of the good things is that nowadays you're finding that a lot of the man-made uppers last a lot longer than they used to. They used to break down so fast, and I've worn both these, especially the black ones. I wear those the most, but I've worn these brown ones quite a bit too. I've had them for several years and they've lasted me a very long time. There's no signs of wear on them, no cracks or anything in the fake leather uppers. Here's a pair of shoes. These are actually wrestling shoes that I bought used because I got them for only $1. They'd hardly been worn and they fit me perfect and are very comfortable. These right here were size 3. Now, because of that, these aren't something I've only really worn them a few times. I don't have a lot of uses for these, at least right now, but for a good comfortable shoe for only $1, they were worth it for me to buy them and set them aside in case I ever need a comfortable shoe. I have worn them a few times. This will be something I'd be more apt to wear around the house or to even keep in the rig as a backup shoe if I needed it. And then here's a pair of boots that I bought secondhand. I found them on Facebook Market that I only paid $30 for. That's actually quite a bit for secondhand, but they were on Facebook Market. They had never been worn. They were brand new boots. And boots are like this are another thing I have a hard time finding in a size that fits me, and these actually fit me perfect. So these are something I would wear when I'm wanting to dress up a little bit more. So I only have, really for dressing up, I have a total of 4 pairs of boots. That's what I wear when I'm trying to get dressier. And the reason I went ahead and broke down and got these and bought them brand new, these are all leather. They're very well made. They have a very solid sole on them. These ones aren't too bad, but a lot of your cowboy boots I find they don't have a lot of, like the older styles don't have a lot of traction to them, and they don't have very heavy soles. I wanted a good heavy sole that was something that was gonna last me a long time and also give me plenty of room in the toes. I love the look of the pointed boots, but I find this style here to be more practical. Now, the used ones I showed you I bought several years ago, I've actually worn quite a bit, but I did really want something that was more comfortable. So I hadn't bought new boots in years, and so these ones I bought last year, I actually got them 20% off, so they were a really good price. And I got them at this Coastal store, and some of you might have seen that video I did on the Coastal store. That was the day I bought those boots. And I've worn them quite a bit. I even wore them to my son's wedding. So this is something that I can wear that's both practical, but still can be dressy. If I had to really beat feet in these, because of the good sole on it, I can feel comfortable running in these boots and not worrying about falling down or tripping over myself. So these are the kind of shoes that I look for. This is also why I like this style quite a bit, because it's a lightweight boot that fits rather snug around the ankle, so I don't have to worry about them slipping around when I'm wearing them. They're not high quality, but but they've lasted me a long time. Now, the problem with these boots and the other brown ones I showed you that are similar in style is because of the low quality, they don't have a lot of cushion. And so if you're having to wear them for a long period of time, your feet can kind of hurt. And so what I do with stuff like that is I used to buy the foam inserts, and I don't do that anymore because now I make my own. In fact, I have a video on making my own. And so these Converse I got probably 15 years ago simply because I thought they were cute. I got them when they were on sale at our local store, but as Converse can be, they're very hard sole. And so I actually made my own set of insoles to give them a little bit more cushion and a better fit because I couldn't get these in the kids sizes, so they're just a little bit big on me, a little long. They fit fine width-wise, but they're a little long, so making the insert for them makes them fit a little bit better so they don't slop around on my feet. Now these are actually something I wear more in the summertime rather than wearing boots like this, and because I think they still look cute with my skirts, and yet they're still kind of practical. I just don't like dress shoes. Though when I lived in the big city many years ago, I used to wear heels and all these dress shoes. I just don't do that anymore. It's just not me. I like things that are practical, something I can run in if I have to. I always think about that stuff. I want to be able to, if I have to run, I don't want to have to take off my shoes to do it. And then another pair of sneakers that I got, these I got at Ross really cheap. I can't remember what I paid for them, but they were a cute, comfortable shoe, so I picked them up years ago. And I'm sure you can tell by looking at them, they're well worn. Oh yes, and then there's I've shown these in one of my prepping videos. I have these hiking boots here. I've worn these quite a bit. They're totally waterproof. So these are things I'm gonna wear even with my skirts, if it happens to be snowy or we're gonna go hiking or anything like that. These are the boots I'm gonna wear. They're a good general all-purpose boot. And so I bought them because I got a good price. I was able to get them in children's sizes. They were still high quality despite the fact that they're children's. Again, totally waterproof and very warm. So this is a good year-round all-purpose boot for me right here. I actually have two pairs because I was lucky enough to find another pair exactly like them, except they were a size bigger. Now that pair I use, they stay by my front door, and I laced them in such a way so that I could actually slip my feet right into them and just walk out the door if I need to go get the mail or do some gardening in the front yard. And then in the back, I didn't even bring these in because I don't like them in my house at all, because these are the ones I wear in the backyard and when I go out to the chicken coop. And these were also found at a garage sale. Again, I paid only $1 for them. I'm going to put a picture right here. They're pretty ugly because what I've done, because they were just cheap garage sale fine boots, is I cut the backs out of them and then laced them in a certain way, because when it comes to stuff like stepping outside, I want to be able to just slip my feet into it and go, because I usually have my hands full of stuff like an empty jug so I can go out and fill it up with rainwater, or I'm bringing in a bunch of eggs and I need to be able to kick them off before I come into the house. I have to make it as hands-free as possible. So that's why I have boots like this at each end, one by the front door and one set just outside the back door. And then all the other shoes are for when I leave the house. Now, just like these wrestling shoes, even though it might seem silly and redundant to have a pair of shoes like this when I don't need it, if I can find a pair like this for $1 that's comfortable and fits me perfect, one of these days some of these other shoes are gonna wear out, these can be something I can still wear around the house. I would probably have to do some modifications to them to make it that way, but for the price I paid, I don't mind hacking them up if I need to. So here's an example. These are the shoes I'm currently wearing around the house. They're very beat up and dirty looking. I've had these for probably also about 15 years. So what I do with my sneakers is when they get, if I get a newer pair that I want to keep nice, whether it be these or these, for wearing out, then what I would do is take my old pair, like I've got here, and then just cut the backs out of them, because it's hard to find the slip-on shoes anymore, because I have to have shoes be slip-on because I always got something in my hands. I'm always moving through the house. Don't wear my shoes on the carpet. So these are indoor only shoes. These are not supposed to go outdoors except for maybe on the deck. So, and these are only worn in the kitchen and in here. I do not wear them on our carpeted areas. So I need to be able to kick them off when I'm going into the living room or any areas with carpet. So that's why I have to have shoes like this. So what I did was I cut the backs out. I have another pair similar to this on another part of the house. That's what I do. So because these are old shoes, I don't mind doing that. Just like the boots I showed you in that picture where I cut the backs out of them, garage sale fine boots, I don't mind doing that. Something that I can make them hands-free. It's a lot cheaper than buying the ones that are made like this because they're hard to find anyway. And even when you do find them on sale, they're still usually around $55 a pair. So that's what I do for footwear. Basically, I do, you know, I have these basic ones that are ones I wear the most, and then I have backup ones. If I can find them at garage sales and whatnot, then I will still do that. If you're like me and you have small enough feet that you can buy kids' boots, if you're going garage selling, that's fine. But when there is one boot that I would recommend never buying brand new in the kids, because they're very expensive anyway. But I got to looking into it, and that is like the Romeo, I think it's the Georgia boot, I think is that makes it. And they're very expensive, but they're a great slip-on boot, and they're very sturdy if you get the adult sizes. If you get the kids sizes, the soles are not made to last and they will eventually have a blowout. I had some. I thankfully bought these at a garage sale. They were like brand new. I spent $3 on them. I definitely got my $3 worth of use out of them because those were my previous garden boots and chicken coop boots. And that's why I got them, was for that. But because they were kids, I wore them for like at least 2 years, and then all of a sudden both soles just completely had a blowout. They were gone. Then I found out later that was because they were the kids. So if you're gonna go, if you have small enough feet to go kids boots and you have to buy boots like that brand new, go for the adult size, the smallest adult size you can find. You're gonna get more of your money's worth out of them that way. Because kids, you know, they assume kids are gonna just grow out of the shoes in a short period of time, and there's no need for making them really sturdy. Now with these are kids' shoes, just like the brown ones like these, and I haven't had any issues. But then again, these are not work boots. I'm not using these to wear out in the garden and muck in the chicken coop and that kind of stuff. So it's really dependent. The quality I'm going to spend is going to depend on what I'm getting. Just the boots that I'm currently wearing outside, they are actually a high quality waterproof boot, but they were only $1. They work perfect to replace the Romeos that I had to toss. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about socks. Now, my favorite socks for the longest time were Smart Wool socks, and I liked their hiking socks here. And I started buying them because this pair of socks here, my baby brother, who is much bigger than me, when he turned 8, these socks got too small for him and he gave them to me. And these I loved these socks so much because I wore them, he wore them quite a bit when he was a kid, and then he gave them to me and I wore them for years and years. And only recently did they finally get their first hole right there along the side, not even in the heel, not even in the sole. These are old socks. I would say they're at least 20 years old. And I can still wear these no problem. They're obviously a little bit thinner on the bottom than they were when they were new, but that one hole is actually kind of where more of the seam area is. It's not even a hole worn from the heel, which is normally where I wear holes in my socks. So I got to looking closely at them one time. This is long before I even got a hole in it. And I saw they were the brand Smart Wool. So because of that, I thought, well, I know these last forever. I started buying these ones in the kids sizes at our local store when they would have their 10% or 20% off the clothing department. They do that twice a year. And you can get anything. And I'd get them in the kids sizes because they were cheaper. So they were $10 a pair plus the 20% off, so I could save a little bit of money. I've been rather disenchanted with Smart Wool that even though these ones have lasted a lot longer than the cheap wool socks like these, that I can get 2 pair for $5, they last a lot longer than that. They are not lasting the way the Smart Wool socks used to last, because these ones I've already had to, I've actually had to darn this one, and this one I see has a hole in it. And though again, it lasts a lot longer than the 2 pair for $5 wool socks. It's crazy how fast they're wearing out in comparison to these. And here's the thing, I have an even newer pair that somebody gave me that is not near as old as these, that already has a hole in it. And then I got to looking at buying more smart wool socks, and their prices have, to get a nice pair of socks like this now is over $20 for one single pair. And I was looking at them the other day, and they only have like 60, maybe 65% wool in them. And so that was really discouraging. So it seems to me the prices keep going up while their quality keeps going down. So even though I used to highly recommend smart wool, I've really become more and more disappointed in how far the quality has gone down. I mean, you're looking at a 20-year-old pair of socks right here that only just now got a hole along the side, not even any other thin spot. So as such, I'm trying a new brand. These ones I found, I got 4 pairs for about $23. And I will link to them below. I can't tell you how long they're gonna last because they only just came in yesterday. I'm wearing the first pair right now. And so far, I love the feel and the fit. They're very comfortable. They're a thinner sock than your standard hiking socks, but I love the fact that they're 85% wool. So they have almost 20% more wool than the smart wool does, and they're a quarter of the price. I mean, think about that. So even if they don't last as long as the smart wool does now, I'm still money ahead on that because I've got 4 pairs as opposed to 1 pair for the same price. So I'll be doing an update on this, but the thing is, I looked at the reviews. I didn't find any reviews where people were talking about longevity, except for one, and I think it had to do with the way the person was wearing them. But other than that, it has 4.5-star rating out of well over 1,000 ratings on there. And so we'll see. So far, I'm happy with them. I think I'm gonna go ahead and purchase another set because again, I still think I'm money ahead paying $23 for 4 pairs. Even if they last half as long as the smart wool, it's still going to be a better price. They've got to last at least that long because they have more wool in them than the smart wool. Now, I always recommend going with wool socks. I love cotton, especially if it's 100% cotton, but it's just not going to last as long as wool, nor is it going to keep your feet as dry as wool does. So especially if you're looking at something where you may need to get out, you got your boots handy, you got your wool socks, you have a spare pair in your go bag or whatever bag that you're keeping in your rigs, then you're set. The wool is going to be the best bet when it comes to that. I don't know if you can find 100% wool like the ones Patrick used to wear in the Army, but the nice thing about the ones that are a blend is usually they have some kind of spandex or something in them that's going to help them to fit better and not overstretch like wool can do. So anyway, this is just what I do, and obviously garage sailing for boots and shoes is not going to be the answer for everyone. Balance out the quality with frugality depending on what it is you're doing. So I'm going to pay a little bit more on a boot like this or a boot like this than I am on a boot like this, so that's just for dressing up and I'm not going to wear that often. And then even sneakers like this on sale, really cheap. These ones aren't necessarily meant for heavy wear, whereas something like this is, or even the ones that I wear around the house. Things that I'm going to wear out, especially working outside, I'm going to want to spend a little bit more money on them if I can't find them at a garage sale because I want to make sure they're going to last and hold up and also be waterproof. That's important too because I'm always having to, in the midwinter when we've got heavy, heavy rains, I need something that can handle walking through the mud and the muck and the wet that's out there perpetually for about 3 months out of the year. Okay, well, I think that's about it. I think I covered everything as far as footwear goes. I'm not a shoe addict, but I don't mind stocking up on shoes if I can find a good price or finding ones at a garage sale that fit and are comfortable and I know eventually I can use them. Then sure, I'm going to pay $1 and then set them aside for later use. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some ideas. If nothing else, just to see what I use, what I wear, especially with my skirts, because some people wonder, well, what does she wear with their skirts? Well, this is it. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.